Okay, welcome back to the Gray Skull Green Garage. This is not my normal filming spot by far. I'm completely aware of this. But I got something today, and this is the reason that I haven't been on for a couple of days. I've been waiting for this to come in because I knew I wanted this to be the next video. Oh, this is a big one. Okay, so let me get this, and let me go into a little bit of something real quick. This, as you can tell, this is the garage. If you haven't been on the channel for very long, it's not very often that we do a video out here. Sometimes I build Gunpla out here. Some of my retro game stuff and whatnot is kept out here. And for the most part, this is kind of like a hangout area where me and the guys come sometimes, and then I of course have my boxing equipment and whatnot so that I can, kind of work on my shape and everything. It's not normal that we're out here. Not normal at all. It has been a job recently that we're trying to turn this into a second collection area. And there's a shelf over there that so far has all the gaming stuff where that's being moved to. Far from done with this project. This project is going to be very vast by the time it's done. But this, I never done this before. I've never bought one of these before, but I've always had a lot of interest. And finally, after all this time, I buckled down and I said, you know what? I'm doing it. There it is. Make sure nothing else is in here. Yep. Okay. That's just a box now. And this is what we're looking for. This box right here is the big guns. It's the thing that we're specifically what we came out here to do. This is so cool. See, recently we all had a chance to buy Snake Mountain. And I got on Mattel Creations, and within 3 minutes, at least as far as I've heard people saying that it may have been actually 5 minutes, but in 3 minutes, as far as I noticed, it was sold out. It was done. You couldn't get one. And I was like, dang it. And for a moment there, that was it. And I remember feeling really crappy about that. And so, before I went to Big Bad Toy Store and put one on pre-order, I said to myself, I want something. And I want it to be a big thing this time. I purposely saved back the money for Snake Mountain and everything. I said, I'm going to do something big. I don't know what, but I'm going to do something big. And then I saw all these people doing figure photography. And that's something that I've been infinitely interested in for a very long time. I've done it here and there with certain personal projects, but never really dove in necessarily full-heartedly. Except for now, because as of right now, I'm jumping in wholeheartedly. This is the Extreme Sets Pop-Up Diorama Dungeon Pop-Up. And if this turns out to be even a third as cool as I think it's going to be, this is going to be amazing. Now, before we even start putting this together, so that we can actually get to the review and talk about it and kind of look it over, I'm just going to say this. I don't know how big this thing is or where I will put it. I have no idea. This was a buy and ask questions later. If If I absolutely have no choice, it's probably going to find a permanent home out here, and I'm gonna build like a corner where I do my photography stuff out here, because that was one of the primary reasons for picking this up, is I honestly want to get in to figure photography, and well, here it is. So I don't know what kind of nightmare this is, how simple or difficult it is, but let's build it. Okay, camera cut off, sorry, but this is it so far. I put together the first 4 walls, and this is, I mean, this thing is massive. This thing is huge. It's actually really cool. But this is the idea so far, and this is what they gave us to work with. So it tells me to build the 4 walls, then I'm supposed to build the staircase, I'm supposed to build these other features right here, and then we put them in as we want. Technically, you could start putting stuff in it right now. It literally says to build this however we want, but we want to finish it. We want to finish it. We want to get the whole thing finished so that we can check it out and see what it is. So the next step is to put together all these pillars and whatnot, and then we'll build all this stuff. So I'm going to put all this stuff together. That's the next step here, is to put all that stuff together. Okay, this part was a little bit tougher, but I got the small staircase. It took me a little while to figure out exactly what it wanted and which stairs to use, but basically that wrapped around there, and that's the top main stair, and then there was a middle stair, and then the bottom stair connects under here and then goes all the way around and curls back up and goes this way. There, that's right. There's the stair. The small stair is done. The pillar is done. The other pillar is done. That is done. Okay. Now I think I start working on the large staircase. Doesn't look too complicated. After doing the small staircase, I have a fundamental idea of how the large staircase is going to work. Basically, we're going to unfold this. We're going to fold it here and here. We're going to poke this part out for the bottom stair. So there's that. And then we're going to poke all these little things out here and all these little things out here. And we're going to put all the stairs, So that's the next step, is to build that staircase. So now we'll build the large staircase. Big staircase completed. Little, not too difficult. The bottom piece snapped into here, went around here, went up to here, then each step was doop, 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 all up until the last one, which this one went in here, curved all the way around and went down and snapped in here. The fact that this is all cardboard, at first when I opened it, I was a wee bit concerned, but as I'm building it, my concern is going away pretty quickly. This, because it's cardboard, it'll be easy to kind of fold up and take down. And then the only thing you have to worry about is kind of like store the pillars and store the staircase, kind of move things to the side. It won't take up the amount of room that I had initially thought. When it's all built, it looks like it's going to be huge, but otherwise I think it's going to be fine. So the next thing that I need to do is looks like I need to make this door that's going to kind of hide the staircase so that it won't look like this. That looks like the next step. And then, yeah, okay. So let me do that part. And that's it. That's it right there. When it's all put together, what it looks like, this is the diorama. This is pretty cool. It's cardboard, so like I said, you can easily tear it down and store it and move it or do whatever you need to do with it. But just to kind of give you an idea, there's a little cell area back here, so you can actually put people in these prison cells, which is actually pretty cool. It seems like mine has a bit of a ding right on that bar. I'll maybe have to kind of attend to that. With small After Effects, you can actually make these torches look like they're burning, because you can do the lighting. Like I have a light that's like directly behind it right now. And then that adds like shadows to the pillar. Of course, when I step in the light, you can see that it's causing this. And you can see that the scale of this is quite substantial. You could get something like this, and if you knew that the people that were going to be playing with it, you know, were careful enough, you could do that. This door opens, that door actually opens, that door actually opens over here. And so when we get down in this, right, look at that. That is fantastic. We're in here with them, and it looks right. I mean, doesn't it? Doesn't that look cool? And it's so big that that's so good. Like there, we got to focus on Skeletor. That's really cool. This will make it so that you can do outstanding photography. Look how far back I can get right here before it really becomes noticeable what's going on. But as I move in and do different dynamics and things like that, like, can we get over He-Man's shoulder here? Because look at that. Look at that. And that whole shot right there. Isn't that fantastic? And you can't, I mean, like, okay, right there is where we're starting to have problems because we're seeing that. But if we just move this much and take a shot like this, that's so cool. And we can reposition and everything. We can play with the staircase and everything. This is fantastic. Now, these are, of course, the origin figures. And these are 5.5. So the real question here comes down to, can we repeat the same kind of illusion with larger figures? Will this work with, say, Masterverse, which are pretty big, beefy figures? And here's the answer. Trying a mild recreation of the thing that we just did, aimed like this, fantastic. You could get away with it. You could put these two in this world and create scenes like this, where somebody's captured back there and he's shown up to take care of it. And like I put Skeletor a little bit into the shadow to kind of really emphasize the idea. And as we turn around, as we back up, that scene is really solid. It's both of them standing there and everything. And we could get all kinds of dynamic scenes with this. I'll admit, your photography might have to be a little tighter with the Masterverse characters. But the point is, even Masterverse, at the scale that they're at, will work with this. This is an amazing piece. It is really cool. And there's a lot of freedom here. These pillars are not locked down. We can create big open areas where a fight is about to go down, where he's standing all the way back here, and He-Man has walked in, and we're getting ready for this big thing, and we can zoom all the way back here, and it's still, look at that. That's fantastic. And we can bring He-Man all the way back and really pull the emphasis like this, where we have Skeletor all the way back there. It looks natural. It looks real. The diorama works. This is a solid piece. And we don't have to have the staircase, in all honesty. The staircase is not necessary. In fact, I'm curious in general, what if I put him on the staircase like he just came down? You know what I'm talking about? And then He-Man here. We'll move our pillar a little bit like this, right? Okay. Look at that. Look at that scene right there. Isn't that sick? Isn't that cool? He's on the staircase. He's looking down. He doesn't care. He-Man is right there. We'll focus He-Man for a minute. We'll focus Skeletor for a minute. I think that's the better shot right there, where it really pushes in and looks at him. And the pillar, we could do all kinds of stuff because we can move it completely out of frame. We could put it here and kind of block the door or whatever and make it seem like the corridor's a little tighter. This is fantastic. And yeah, it's cardboard. If we really wanted to get crazy, we can see that it's cardboard. You could see the seam and whatnot. But I'm sure that as time goes on and you use this and you kind of build it to scale of how you want it every time, this will kind of start to take memory in its shapes. Now, I will say that I had to kind of, in order to get it to do what I wanted it to do, because this part just did not want to stay there, I put like a little thing here, just my box cutter. It held it. That's fine, because this is, when all is said and done, you're looking at it, it is this. But look at that right there. That is so cool. You could get this shot right here. This is cool. So I'll be honest, this thing is real cool. I don't know exactly what I want to do here. Like I said, buy it, ask questions later. I knew that I wanted it, and I've known for a very long time that I wanted to get into figure photography. I've thought about going out into my backyard and kind of posing up stuff like that and doing things, and I have like an old busted up stump and whatnot that's in the front yard and just little things like that. And I've always thought, Bill, you have the ideas, you can do something. Well, this is step one. I needed a diorama. I needed something to kind of spark, get me going, and I got it. And I'm already kind of getting ideas as to what I'd like to do, especially since this made the most sense for me. I have Spider-Man and Superman figures and things like that, and that's all good and fine, but what I wanted to do was some fantasy art. And I can do them with Masterverse, or I can do it with Origins, and either one would work here. Either one is viable and usable. This is cool. Now, am I saying that you should run out and get one? Well, that depends. Know what you're getting into. Without a doubt, know what you're getting into. Let me move a little bit here. This thing, cool as it may be, is a photography tool. It's 100% not a toy. Don't mistake it. And it's way too big for you to use it as like a display necessarily. This is going to take up real space in any room that you put it in. This is something that, like I said, when I put it all out, it's going to be on this table. I'm going to do my photography, play around with it for a while, and then I'm going to have to put it away. And now, luckily, that's not that big of a deal. I'll fold these up, I'll fold this up, I'll kind of put everything, and then I'll kind of stock it away. But for you, for anybody that's interested, know what this is. Before you invest in it, this is first and foremost a diorama. And first and foremost, it is meant for people that are going to get into things like figure photography. That's what this is for, 100%. And if you have a different intention, it might not go that well for you. I'll be 100% honest, because if you buy this and you use it like a display, it's really, really big. It pokes out. You saw the dimension of it. You saw how big the table was. If you were to use it as something like that, you would find yourself having trouble fitting it on a shelf. If you had this, if you had a store, right? Maybe that's cool. If you had a store or something like that, and you put this in one of those glass display cases, and then you built a scene in there and you used it to sell MOTU or something like that, that makes a lot of sense to me. Something like that does make sense. But once again, that proves my point even further. This thing is a tool, and it is meant for what it is meant for. It's a diorama. It's specifically designed to be what it is. And it is really cool. So I know I'm going to make use of it, but since I'm doing this, and this channel very much is in my personal discovery, my personal journey through fandom, collecting toys, testing out new ideas, and getting into things, and getting out of things for that matter. Sometimes I'm very much into a thing, and sometimes I kind of fall out and I decide that these figures or things don't really mean the same thing that they used to mean to me, and then I take that opportunity and I kind of move on and I move them into my tables for sales and whatnot. That's the way that I am, and that's the way that this channel is. It kind of keeps the channel random, except for certain things, like I do have a heavy focus on MOTU because, well, I like fantasy. I love fantasy art. If you were following me on Twitter or whatnot, you'll see that I like all kinds of fantasy art and whatnot, and sometimes I share fantasy art. I love this kind of stuff, and now I can make my own. And for me, on a personal level, that is why I wanted this so much, is I want to do more than just collect figures. Collecting figures is a money dump. It is. That's what we do. We dump money into it. And we get some cool stuff because we were willing to do that. But in the end, that's what we're doing. Most of us aren't playing with toys. We're dumping money into a collection. And does it have a return? Not always. Not for all of us. Let's be honest, especially openers. Most of the time when you buy this stuff, you open it and then that's the end of its value. It's done. It's done. But for what it's worth, something like this is a way to expand my collection with purpose. And that's why I was so excited to get this. Because this is my chance to get into something else that's bigger and more awesome, and may also yield fantastic results. I can make things like when I do a YouTube video, I can make my my thumbnail from a photo of whatever figure I did in this diorama. That's awesome. It'll really give unique and powerful thumbnails. When I don't have figures coming and I just want to mess around, I want something to do, but I don't necessarily want to watch a show and I don't want to necessarily play a game. I've found weird times where I'll go up and just sit in my toy room. I just sit there and I just look at stuff. And, you know, you reach that point where you feel like you're too old to just like grab the toys down and be like, meh, and fight with them. But like, you want to do something. And then my mind goes into all the different books and things that I've thought about reading and fan fictions that I have done over the years, and how I can make things a reality with just a simple little display like this. I can set up hundreds of thousands of millions of scenes, anything that I could possibly imagine, any movement that I can possibly make out of these figures, I can do now. And that expands my interest. It expands my hobby tenfold, and that's what I wanted. That's what I knew this would do. And you know what? Now that I'm sitting here looking it over, this is fantastic. I think it's fantastic. If you have any interest, just keep in mind what I've said. Know what it is you're investing in, because this is an investment. This is an $80 piece of cardboard. But man, it's cool. Later on.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.